What are some workplace lessons you learned the hard way? Always cover your back. You never know who may have it out for you. Even that really friendly person that you think is wonderful. I'm not suggesting paranoia, but always get things in writing/email, especially if what they are asking of you sounds off. About 2 years back, a lower manager told me to shred some files. I asked if we had approval, and they said yes. After I shredded them up, the management came around and was not happy because apparently it broke regulations. The manager that asked me to do it blamed it on me and said I did it on my own without permission. Luckily my manager, their boss, didn't believe them, but it was a terrifying few days. Never send emails when you are upset, ever. Also, find a coworker you trust to proof any risky emails. Always good to have a second pair of eyes. Here's one I didn't see listed already. If you're a salaried employee, work-life balance is something you have to create, as your employer wants to get all they can from you, i.e. time, and they will take until there's nothing left. Many places will also make you feel guilty for trying to set boundaries and will compare you to others that don't practice self-care. None of those people are your friend. Ask for what you want, because no one is going to hand you anything, even if you're a good worker and you deserve it. Office politics are very real. Promotions, raises, etc. are not always based on skill. A lot of it has to do with your political ranking in the office as well. At the end of the day, you're very replaceable, and no matter how much you think management cares, they will not hesitate to let you go if it means saving money. I worked as a marketing manager at a relatively small company, around 100 people total. Upper management constantly told us during our monthly all-company calls that we were a family and that we are all incredibly valued. I felt super lucky because it really did feel like a family, and so many employees seemed happy. Then, with no warning, they gave a ton of us the axe. No warning. Nothing. The hour manager put a meeting on our calendars and let us go to cut costs. They told us that day would our last day. I felt blindsided by the decision. But more than anything, I was hurt that there was no notice or even a hey, it's not definite, but we are thinking of letting some of you go to cut costs. Wouldn't a family at least try to prepare you for such a big decision? I'm not bitter that it happened. I understand that a business is a business. However, the lesson is that no matter how much the company touts that you're a family, you're not untouchable. This can be a good thing too. Never feel like you owe a company anything, extra hours, your sanity, etc. because they won't hesitate to drop you when it's convenient for them. Set boundaries with your job. The biggest one I learned the hard way is you owe no loyalty to any company or the people who work there, nor should you expect any in return. My first real office job gave me the job when I was in a really tight spot in the middle of the Great Recession. I worked there for about 5 years. Thought I was friends with a lot of people up high and felt I had major job security being one of the most senior people there. Always had good reviews. Always on big projects. Had done a lot of above and beyond. Done training. Got input on hiring new people. Always thought I had a promotion right around the corner. Always delayed due to growing pains and other bullshit they sold me. I expected to work there forever. The job had ups and downs, but I liked it. Out of literal nowhere I was laid off. A lot of rumor suggested it was for political reasons and or because my salary was too high and or because I was friends with the wrong people. Long term it turned out to be for the best for me. I earned more than double the salary I made there. The company ended up selling that division some years later. So, good for me. But I'm still really bitter about it, honestly. Really bitter. Part of it is because I haven't had a job I've enjoyed that much since then. But the other part is now I have a huge natural distrust of all companies I work for and the people I work with since then. Anytime I hear the word family at work I cringe and feel sick to my stomach. They use that word to manipulate you. Remember that. It's a blatant and obvious lie. A company exists to make money. Period. End of story. You are an expense to that company. As soon as they perceive you to be a not making them enough money or b more trouble than you're worth, you will be thrown onto the street without a damn. They aren't family. You'll never hear from them again. Other lessons. Document everything. cover your ass. Head down and mind your business unless you're okay with the possibility of losing your job. Don't bother going above and beyond cause it will never be rewarded enough to justify the extra workload. Get everything in writing. And never go more than 5 years without switching jobs cause you'll get huge pay bumps. A cost of living raise is not a raise at all. As best you can. Save up for retirement as much as possible and try to get out ASAP. Don't share personal stories with coworkers they'll use it to their advantage. Always cover your back when it comes to money and anything else. Business is business. Don't take it to heart or personally because business is heartless and all about money. Double check your contract and get everything in writing. Stand up for yourself. If it's wrong, say so and also admit to your mistakes. Apologize for it and move on. Don't dwell on it. You are replaceable. When it comes to money then they'll always choose the option that saves them the coin. Compartmentalize. Separate your work life to your personal life. There will be co-workers who will become true friends in real life. But pick them wisely. Leave work bullshit at work. Don't let it affect your life. Once the clock hits and it's the end of your shift, work is done and off you go. Always. Always leave a paper trail. It hasn't happened to me personally, but you'll never know. It's best to have your back covered all the time. A smile can go a long way. Act professional and be kind. I'm pretty cautious in cherry picking my friends, but it doesn't hurt to be friendly with everyone. You'll never know when you'll be needing a helping hand. Only take on enough workload to avoid burnout. If somebody asks for a favor and you think you can step up, do it. Also, don't feel pressured in taking on something that you're not comfortable in doing. Speak up clearly, nicely, and professionally. There are plenty of ways in conveying ideas, suggestions and criticisms without being too overbearing. Don't sleep with someone you work with, no matter how normal they seem. People are different at home, and crazy ain't worth losing a job over, even if the crazy is all them. People will view you in their same light just because you were with them. No matter how short that time was, it will impact how higher ups view your decision making skills. Don't tell anyone anything personal that can be used against you, because it will get around and absolutely be used against you in some way. Human resources works for the company, not you. Just general workplace lessons. Get everything in writing, no matter how small the decision. People always tend to forget things and verbal agreements almost never pan out. CC yourself on every email you send out, even your responses to emails. File it away in case you need it. You have no idea how many times this has saved my ass when someone forgot they agreed on something or tried to throw my team under the bus. See above. If you don't know something, admit it. Don't try to talk yourself into a hole and then be proven wrong later. That just discredits you and makes others distrust your word. The worst thing that can happen in a workplace. If you don't know something, be sure to do your research and find out, then respond to the person who asked the question or questions. This builds credibility and trust. If you make a mistake, don't dwell on it. Apologize and then work hard to fix the issue. People don't remember the mistake. They remember how you fixed it or how you ignored it. Blend in whichever way possible. The real positive attributes about you shouldn't be on show when you first start a job, because some people feel threatened by potential. Don't try to make friends or involve yourself in politics or gossip. This goes for both bosses and employees. I worked in a place where everyone socialized and we were one big family. That sort of arrangement is fun when things are going well. But alliances and emotional investment mean when things go south, they really ducking go south. And it also means you're easier to manipulate. I was careless with my words. 2. Don't say anything in private you wouldn't be prepared to say to someone's face if it came down to it. Now, if I have a job, I'm friendly and cordial, but my emotional investment ends when I leave for the day. I'm not close to friendships happening organically over time. But I'm guarded about it and keep those lines solid. My priority is my work and financial future, not whether my boss and colleagues like me. Also, regardless of the legality of the situation, assume you're being surveilled in some way. Anybody is replaceable, so do what is best for you and your family. Stop paying attention to what others are or are not doing. That people are people. They are not better because they work at a non-profit. That people don't mature and they don't care about the truth. Cafeteria bullshit still reigns. That if you're female, you will be looked down on for not being feminine. Never recommend someone for a job, even casually, unless you can 100% vouch for them. Even if you just mention that there is an opening and the person can apply. The mere fact that your name is connected to this person's can spell doom for you and make it seem like your recommendation, which turns out very badly if this person isn't great at what he/she does. Don't assume it's safe to come out because you work in a generally LGBTQ+ accepting industry. I had a job doing ticket sales and marketing for a local theater. I'm generally pretty open about being asexual, and plenty of my coworkers knew. I had requested time off to go to a conference for queer women and already found people to cover all my shifts. My boss approved it and casually asked if I was lesbian or bi. When I said asexual, she didn't know what it meant. I explained, and she laughed. She said that there must be something psychologically wrong with me and I should figure it out in therapy. And then she assured me that one day I'd get some good dick and forget I ever identified as ace. Luckily I had a coworker with me who was on my side. She took over the conversation and I stepped out of the room as soon as I could. When you have meetings with coworkers, send a summary email of what was talked about and agreed upon afterwards. This is important to not only clarify specific details and deadlines, but also covers your ass if anyone remembersteme differently. Even better if you can get them to send an acknowledgement email in return. Add coworkers on social media. I made a simple post about having had a long few days, 12-hour shift work in the military, and was looking forward to a few days off, seeing some friends, and getting a break from stress. A coworker saw it and got offended I guess, and told a higher up person. I got screamed at by her chief. Turns out she had exaggerated and embellished what I said quite a bit, and did end up getting an apology, but that day I dropped everyone I worked with off my social media. Document. I personally didn't need it, but I saved a friend by telling them to document everything. There is always a reason places have a high turnover rate and it usually has to do with poor management. Also, you are replaceable. Don't think that just because they're friendly to you, they have some sort of vested interest in keeping you around. Literally every single retail job I had ever worked, Priscilla McCall's, Sears, etc., were super catty, with a lot of gossip and favoritism. They were really shit experiences. Always get things confirmed via email and save those. I had a former supervisor who regularly changed her mind and said she never gave instructions that she did. She would tell us to complete a task one way, then a week later would say she never said that and everyone would have to stay late to change our work. Thankfully, we have a different person running our program now, and she is fantastic. Delete the recipients in the to CC box of an important email before you write the email. Even if it's a reply all, write the names in the to CC boxes down and add them back in once you have written the email. If you have the time, save the email after you have written it and read it again before you add the recipients and hit send. It's just a job. They do not care about you. They only care what you can do for them. Your health means nothing to them, and they'd replace you within the week if you died. Do not overwork. Do not do extra. This may be a little outdated due to autosave features and better computers, but save your work often. I learned the hard way when I spent a couple of hours of overtime inputting hundreds of stock sale transactions for one of our clients into a tax program. I then accidentally kicked the reset button on the computer and lost everything. Up until that point, I didn't even know you could save your work in the tax program we were using. Always have strong boundaries. Speak up for yourself when you're being mistreated or taken advantage of. I had a boss who would ask me to house sit when he was out of town. Learned much later that he had cameras set up He did not disclose this to me prior to me staying. He'd babysit his daughter. He'd ask me to go to the gym with him. Looking back, I was naive to think there weren't ulterior motives to him incorporating me into his personal life. He was very controlling over my personal life. All around, it was a toxic relationship that ended up costing me my job because I didn't speak up for myself. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.